I am going to just share some information about the organization Empower with Words College Prep. So I will I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to just do a brief PowerPoint presentation, and then we will introduce our guest speaker. One moment. Okay. So just a little information about this organization that's hosting a webinar. So the name of the organization is Empower with Words College Prep. And basically what we do is we help students and their parents, guardians. We provide them with the tools to help them successfully navigate the college and the scholarship process. And we do this in different methods, but our biggest mission here at the organization is helping students reach their full academic as well as their career potential. So that's what our main goal here in this particular organization. Here we go. So we provide various services to our students. We do private coaching where we work with students one-on-one to help them with the college application, scholarships, and so forth. We also provide group workshops and college tours, but of course, due to the pandemic, a lot of the things that we were doing in person are now postponed until further notice, and a lot of the group workshops are now being done virtually, such as the webinars and so forth like that. So a lot of the things that we do with our students is all virtual, whether it's individual or whether it's in a group setting. Some of the topics that we focus on are student project plans, where we help students create those SMART goals, helping them figure out that specific plan at the high school, whether it's going to a 2-year university or a 4-year university or even military, but really helping them come up with a plan at the high school. We assist with time management skills and strategies. We assist with essay writing and editing. We help parents with financial aid awareness, helping students find the financial resources if they are not afforded the opportunity for academic or a athletic scholarship. So we help the students find the financial resources that are in the community. We also help with the scholarship application completion as well as the college application completion. And then one of the things that I like to tell students is that it's not always about making good grades when it comes to trying to get into college, but it's also about building that resume, whether, again, if you are an athlete or whether you are trying to build your leadership experience in the community or just trying to gain that community service. So a lot of times, a lot of scholarship committees or a lot of college committees, they want to see well-rounded students. So we also provide strategies where students can build their resume as well. And one of the resources that we have created for students and their parents is a workbook entitled $0 to Full Scholarship. And we have this in both a printed copy as well as a digital copy. And how this resource is divided is the first module is really focused on, or really focused with the parents, helping the parents overcome the overwhelming feelings of college preparation or planning for your child's future. The second module is really focused on the academic portion of planning after high school. And then the third module is really focused on the financial aspect of planning for college. And if you want more information about our specific organization, our website is empowerwithwords.com. We are on, you can email us, empowerwithwordsllc@gmail.com. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram. But I'm not going to take it up any more time. I am going to introduce our guest speaker tonight. And I'm going to read a brief bio about him. So B.A. Walker received his education at Virginia Commonwealth in Richmond, Virginia, with a Bachelor's of Science in Sports Management in 2007. In 2019, he became a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. BA was a starter 4 consecutive years at Nandor High School on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. And that is actually where I graduated from. So BA and I went to the same high school. He was a bit older than I was, maybe about 4 years older than me, but it was good to see his pictures when I went to high school. So he was definitely a star on the Eastern Shore. He was a 2-time regional player of the year, a 3-time regional champion, 2-time state champion, and a 2-time state player of the year in the single A division. In college, he was a 4-year starter at VCU, 2-time CAA champion, and in 2007, second team All CAA. During his 13 years as a professional basketball player, he played for 7 European countries: Iceland, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Finland, France, and Israel. I would like to now turn the mic over to BA.
Hey, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. First off, thank you for letting me come and speak about my experience and share my experience. I think it's very important to get that message out for as a student athlete first, and just to touch the youth and be able to have somebody that went through it and been through it to speak. I think it speaks volume of for your program, and I just like to say thank you for the opportunity first. Um, yeah, so like Chantel said, I'm BA Walker. Everybody knows me by BA. I'm from the Eastern Shore, um, small town, Savageville. Um, I was very passionate about basketball. I picked up a basketball at 8, just playing for the local recreation, and I fell in love with the game. And it kind of took me to places that I never would have thought of. Being young, I had a dream to go to the NBA like everybody. Um, as I got older, I just didn't want to stop playing basketball. You can ask my parents at a young age. It'd be snowing outside, I'm on the court. It'd be raining, I'm on the court. I just took all my time and tried to dedicate my time to playing basketball because I just fell in love with it for the first time I played. I had one older brother, Tyree. Um, he actually taught me the game at a young age, and I took kind of took my passion from him, just watching him go through the ranks and play, and I just wanted to follow along. He's 3 years older than me, so his peers were a lot older than me, a lot tougher than me, but I tried to keep up at a young age. A little message I have today, I think that's very important that we need in today's society is two things: motivation and discipline. I think they go hand in hand. For me, now that I'm older and can reflect back on things, I found things that motivated me. And at the time, I didn't know they was motivating me. I just knew I wanted something and I was trying to gain something. And the first thing was, I have a lot of stories, but my brother was a little bit older than me. He was taking karate, and at the time, I may be 5 or 6, and the instructor's just beating up on my brother. He's getting a promotion, so he's changing his belt, and at the time, I say, I'm gonna get you back when I get older, and that just kind of motivated me to just um, follow in his footsteps. And we was taking karate together, and from then on, it was like everything that kind of happened in my experience, it kind of um, lit a spark in me. I was just trying to find passion and fire, and just from that experience, I continue to just find little things that will motivate me to try to reach a goal. Growing up, I remember if I skip ahead to before I got to high school, my brother was on a high school team. And in my eyes, and in most people's eyes, he was one of the best players. And I remember him not being selected as one of the best players in the district and in the region. And I was dumbfounded by it. But I was like, okay, y'all gonna do that to my brother? I'm gonna show y'all. So going into basically my JV year, I had some kind of motivation where I just was like, I want payback. I want them to realize that y'all did my brother wrong. So now y'all got to deal with me now. And that's kind of something that I kind of carried with me along with just loving the game. I just always found something that basically motivated me. Um, my mom was a school teacher, and this where the discipline comes in. Um, the schoolwork had to be done before anything else. You know, we wasn't allowed to go outside and play if the schoolwork wasn't done. We wasn't allowed to go out in the summertime without doing our chores, without doing our little workbook pages that she had for us at a young age. We would take summer classes, and I'm going to circle back to that about discipline. But that at a young age, it really taught me discipline. It really taught us discipline. Like, you know, we had fun, but the things we needed to get done first had to be done first before we could have fun. Um, I had a couple experiences where I was lucky and fortunate enough to be on a good team, and we won, you know, regional champs. We were state champs, and just going into my college years, I was two-time state player of the year. So I went to college and I'm thinking I'm gonna play. And for the first 10 games of the year, I think it might have been, I didn't play at all. Like I was just on the bench, like not playing. And I tell this story to my campers all the time. Is like they did something to me. I'm like, how the coach told me come to VCU, I'm gonna play, and so on and so forth. And I'm not playing. And I remember after one game, my family is traveling every game at VCU. My family, a big gathering from the Eastern Shore, is coming to the game, I'm not playing. So I was embarrassed. I mean, I was 19, I was 18, I was 19. I was embarrassed. I wasn't playing. And I remember me and my mom was walking to the parking lot, and I'm walking into the car. My grandma's there, and you know, whatever. And we in the parking deck, and I remember just right there, I just started bust down crying. It was the first time I probably cried in a long time. And I said, I don't want to play basketball no more. I can't do this no more. This is it's too hard. College life is too hard. I'm working too hard, and I'm not even playing. And I tell everybody, I thought she was gonna be like, "Oh, it's okay. Give me a hug. It's gonna be okay." You know. I remember she looked at me and she was like, "Yo, wipe your face." I'm thinking to myself like, "Oh, what's going on? Like, you supposed to be, you know, being a mother, like consoling me and like telling me everything's gonna be okay." She was like, "Wipe your face." And I remember she said it like I remember like it was yesterday. She was like, "Tomorrow you be the first person at practice and be the last person to leave. You know, go back to your room and I'll talk to you later." Like no bye, no nothing. Just get in the car and just leave. So that whole night I'm just dumbfounded, like, whoa, what's going on? Like I didn't understand the message. I didn't understand why she was acting like that towards me. And later I will understand it. Every time we would set out to do something, you can't stop. You always have to see it through. Um, and the next day, I went to practice. I was the first one there. I was the last one to leave. For a week, I did that. First one there, last one to leave. I stayed there hours after everybody left. I was still there shooting, doing whatever I could, talking to the coach. 5 days later, the point guard who's basically playing before me breaks his foot in the game. And there's 2 minutes left in the game, and it's a close game. And then the coach goes down. He says, "All right, BA, you go in." I'm like, "Me? Why? No, why me all of a sudden?" So we go in. Long story short, we ended up winning the game. And after that game, I started for the rest of my career at VCU. I never not missed a game. I never not started. So I say all that because it was preparation. And at the time, I didn't know. She didn't let me give up. She was like, "No, you in this. This was your decision. You have to keep going." And that's where the discipline comes in also. And I took that lesson and was like, okay, now I understood why she made me go, why she won't let me miss karate class, why she won't let me miss school, like why she won't let me skip homework. It was instilling discipline in me. And once I started to have that discipline, the motivation came easy because we got always something to motivate you. There's always something you can look forward to. Even in a bad situation, you can take something positive from it and find motivation for the next experience. And we get to that situation, we get through it, and I have a pretty good career. And then my junior year, um, I don't know if anybody understands this, but like the head coach basically leaves without telling us. He just ups and leaves. I'm going into my senior year, and if you know anything about how sports is, like if a new coach coming in, you don't know what will happen. So I'm like, oh man, like do I transfer? Do I try to find a new? What do I do? Again, I can't leave. No, I've been here. I've been a starter here. It's my last year. You know, we seeing this through. We trying to, you know, we doing everything we're gonna do, but we gonna see this through. And um, we get another blessing. We get one of the best coaches I ever had in my life. He comes. He makes me the captain of the team. and I had the best um, season at VCU my last year. So all these things kind of happened where it was so many things where I could have just quit and just went away and just say, okay, this is too hard. But the discipline from when I was 6 years old, from that time, that karate class moment, led me all the way through 19, 20 to where I am now. And again, there was little things where there was some motivation behind, the coach leaving and just trying to find things that motivated me. And we end up, going to the NCAA tournament. We end up beating Duke, and there was just little things that wouldn't have happened if I would have given up, And I think that's very important for our parents. This in today's society, we have to teach discipline. Too many times, I think we let our kids make the choice for us. The kids have. I didn't have a choice, and I know. I didn't want to go to karate class, but we had to go every Tuesday and Thursday. Like I remember the days we went every Tuesday and Thursday. We were not missing. It was sometimes I try to fake like I'm sick. Nah, she ain't playing that. You going? So it was just. And then now I appreciate that because it taught me that, like, I mean, being a college student, everybody know, man, you got an 8 o'clock class. It's 50 minutes. I ain't going to class. But I just it didn't feel normal to miss something. And she always would say, my mom will always say, it's gonna pay off. Everything's gonna pay off. You can just at least go. And then once you get there, it won't even be that bad. It'll be over before you know it. So it's always had like a little, her voice will always be in the back of my mind, like, you don't get up, go to class, and I never tried to miss practice. I never tried to miss class. There was some times where I had already graduated and I was taking extra classes, and I still went because I just had that already, that work ethic, and I already had those values, and I never wanted to compromise my values in any situation. Like if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. If I signed up for the class, I gotta go now. I gotta see it through. So that was kind of something that kind of propelled me throughout my career and having a longevity and playing basketball. And I always wanted to um, outwork the next person. Like you couldn't. If I see you and you working hard and you there 10 minutes longer than me, all right. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be there 10 minutes longer than you. That's how I always try to see it. Or I'm gonna get there an hour earlier than you and see if you can catch up with me. I always try to just find that little motivation. Again, like I said, just something that keeps me going, and it kind of worked for me. Going into the professional, uh, again, from a small town kid in Virginia where nobody knows almost where the Eastern Shore is, I'm going to Europe. I'm by myself, and it's all these things are thrown at me where people don't know the language. They looking at me, and I don't know the language, I should say, and you just have to make it. You have to make it because people are depending on you, your family depending on you. And I remember when I went to Iceland, they basically dropped me off in my apartment, and I stood there for 3 days. No money, no this the way the story is, no car, no nothing. So it was just like, what do I do now? And I'm in a situation, and again, it's just a test about the discipline. And we went back to, okay, I didn't have internet, so I haven't talked to my family. I haven't let them know that I arrived safely. I have no way to communicate back to them. So for 3 days, I just sat in a room like, yo, what am I doing? Like, I don't understand. I thought this was professional, but whatever. So we get to a situation where it's like, this not for me. Maybe I don't know what's going on here, but I want to talk to my family. I want to see what's going on. We're not playing basketball. I'm just sitting here. Like, I'm not used to this. And I could have, again, there was a situation where I could have given up, but discipline and seeing it through, it wouldn't let me. I end up winning a championship there. So I end up being one of the best players there. And all these situations, all these obstacles was thrown at me right from the beginning. Boom. Like right even before we even started playing basketball, it was like so many situations just thrown in front of me. And it would be easy for people to give up. I've seen people give up. I've seen it been hard on people. Not to say people are weak, but it's just something you need to have, some values that need to take along with you that I think will help for anyone to be successful. Um, Further in my career, I always had situations where um, there were different challenges. Things weren't fair, in my eyes, and it just goes back to that discipline where, you just have to fight through it and know that at the end, things will be better and you will eventually get to where you're trying to get to. But you never want to give up, man. I mean, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but it was so many different times where it was just like, yo, this is not for me. And now I look back on it and I take those lessons and it's like, man, I did 13 years of in Europe, and I was able to take my family to places they probably would never go if I wasn't there. And I look at the beautiful side of it. And um, another situation was where I was basically an older player, and we going into training camp, and the coach is just right off like, you're not playing, you're not starting. We're gonna start somebody that's 20. I'm like, wait, I've been doing this for 12 years, and you saying I'm not gonna start? I mean, we hadn't had practice or anything. He just said, yo, you're not playing. We want the French players to play. I'm like, wait. So we had a little meeting, and and it's just like, I don't know, I went home, I called my agent, and I called like, yo, what I just signed up for? And because if you know anything about the professional leagues, it's all about perception. So if you have a perception like, yo, you have a 20-year-old starting in front of you, now people start talking, your money, it affects your salary and so on and so forth. Again, at first I took it with a grain of salt, and I was mad, and I was like, no, this ain't it. This is just not it. We I stayed. Again, I had one of the best seasons I had in France. My team made it to the championship. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but it was one of the best seasons I had as a team. And personal wise, statistic wise, it was one of the best seasons I had. And I struggled at the beginning, but I just kept at it, kept at it, kept at it. And eventually, once I broke out and was able to overcome that obstacle, I was able to again have a great season. And I look back on it, and it didn't kill me, so it just made me stronger, and it made me ready for the next obstacle I was ready to face, not knowing what it would be, but it taught me a lesson. Just again, every time I felt like, oh, this not it, I'm ready to give up, I just kept going. And again, I think that all goes back to discipline. Um, I never missed practice. I always went to each session we ever had. I only think I never was even late to practice, which is rare for people to always be on time, because as athletes we do bad with time management. But it was just something like I always try to keep my professionalism, and with that came the person I am today is just trying to be professional through and through, whether it be going to an event for kids or doing some charity, whatever it may be. I thought all these things fall under a certain umbrella, and you carry that with you through life. Whatever it may be. For me, it was basketball. For somebody else, it might be being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a president. I think if you can find your core values and what you value the most, and basically execute and stick to your core values and your professionalism, I think that's the two keys to success. I think anybody can be successful. For me, I didn't really know at first um, what was my values, but I found what I needed to do and how I needed to do them and how to execute um, what I needed to do. And once it basically I was able to attain it and understand that, it became easier for me. Even when it was hard, it was like, okay, well, you have to do it. Like, you don't need to complain. You have to get up and go. You have to be here on time. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like, and the worst part is thinking like you don't want to do it. Well, because once you do it and get into it and get it done, it's over. You don't have to ever have to worry about it again. And I think that's something I'm still really basically trying to overcome right now. Even as a student athlete, when I was in college, I went and I was like, I don't know what this college life about. Right away, I asked my coach, yo, I need a tutor for all my classes right away. I need a tutor. Like, even and then once I was like, oh, English 101, that's the easy. I can make a decision right now. But I had already like prepared, and I was like, okay, I don't know what this math is about. Like, I need a tutor for this math. I need a tutor for biology, whatever the subject may be. And then I already prepared myself to be successful. I wanted to be successful right away. I didn't want to struggle and then try to catch up. I was like, before we even started classes, I told my coach I need tutors. I went study hall. I need because after practice, I might go home, go to my room, and I'm going to sleep. Like, no, study hall. We got study hall every night. This time. So I just try to always like put myself in a situation where I could be successful. Again, at the time, I didn't really know it, but I was like reflecting on it. Those values always came out. They always tend to show up in times where I knew I needed help or I needed this or I wanted to give up because it was instilled in me at an early age. I always was able to overcome obstacles, and I didn't always do it the right way. I didn't always succeed. It was hard. It was times where I failed at things, but later on in life, it still kind of basically taught me never to give up, and I try to stick to the principles that was instilled in me by my parents, my siblings, my friends, my family. And I think that can carry you through life. In any situation, you can deal with it if you hold those values close to you, and never compromise, and never let anybody get you off of being you. You just stay grounded, because people will try you. And I mean, I've had dealings, and I have conversations after conversation after conversation, just trying to understand. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing is stick to who you are, stick to your principles, stick to what you believe in. And I think that will take anybody where they want to be. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it kind of worked for me. And I look back on it like I didn't think I could do 13 years in Europe, but every year after year, one thing they could never say is I was never unprofessional. They can never say I wasn't professional. They would never say that he was a bad person. Sometimes they try to paint me that way, but the reality is, it wasn't the truth. And I always will stand upish. I always kept my professionalism, and majority of the people, they will agree with that. And I had a situation where my last year as a professional was just 2020, where my team was losing, we wasn't doing that good, and it's all my fault. It's BA fault. Like, he's the problem. Like, so they wanted to fire me and send me home, and okay, it's fine. Let's just do it. Get it over with. Like, if that's what you want to do, let's just do it. But then they want us to play games where they want to trash me in the newspaper. They want to trash me on social media. They want to trash me to the fans. And I'm like, I did we don't have to go that route, but again, this was another test. It was another test of how you going to react to it. So, I didn't handle the situation the best, but I still kept my professional. I went to practice every day. I was never late. I was never, I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to do. And I just kept professional. And so they make a decision, they're going to change the coach. So I'm still here. They changed the coach. For the next 5 games, I'm the best player all of a sudden. Like, I have the best games, and then we start winning. And then it's like, oh yeah, well, it wasn't your fault after all. But wait, like, don't switch sides now. But but that was an obstacle I had to go through. That was something I went through, and looking back on it now, it's a story. It's a story I can tell the youth that it's not going to be easy. That people are going to try to trash your name. People are going to try to bring you down. People are going to blame you, even when it's not your fault. They are going to blame somebody. Somebody has to take the blame for maybe their shortcomings, for them not doing what they're supposed to do. They're going to point the finger at you. And I experienced that. And I was lucky enough that after 13 years, I experienced that. After 13 years, I know people that experienced that their first year. So I was kind of mentally prepared for it, but it's still kind of, it sits wrong with you, but again, I had conversations with different people, and it was just like, just stay professional through and through. Don't let them get you off of being who you are. And that's all I try to do. And then again, that's just something that motivated me. Like, all right, I'm gonna show y'all it wasn't me. And now, after that, after 4, 5, 6 games of saying it wasn't me, now the apology tour start. Oh, I'm sorry, it's too late now, but it's all good. we good, we good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still over there, I'm still over here, and we gonna keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lesson for me. You know, it was another lesson for me. And like I said, out of all situations, I look at it, try to reflect, and I talk, and I try to say what positive I could have took out of the situation, and what's the negative I could have removed from the situation, and take accountable for my actions. You know, and so when the next situation happens, I won't. I can do it differently. I can handle it different, even more professionally than I handled it. Because I saw something recently. It said, never let somebody else control your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So you can never let somebody make you mad, because then they won. If you let somebody make you mad, they control your emotions. They won. So they can always know what buttons to push to make you feel a certain way. So, just something I looked at back. I wish I would have not let them control my emotions so much. And that's something, again, I took that, I put my values to it and said, okay, from now on, if I'm in a situation like that, just handle a little bit differently. Just be even more professional than they are. They're going to be 5 times more, be 6 times, 10 times, 20 times more professional than them. And at the end of the day, you will be the one that is still you still have your person, you still have your values, you still have everything you need to continue to be successful. And then you just wash your hands, you walk away from the situation, and you still have your happiness. After all, you still have your happiness. And I think um, too many times we get away from that, get away from our happiness. We have to be able to keep our core values. If something doesn't sit right with you, okay, handle the situation, professionally, keep your values, and then you'll find your happiness, and that's just something, a little something that kind of stuck with me, that still stays with me, that I'm still working on at 36. You know, I will try to instill in my kids that, once they start something, like, you probably not gonna stop. You're gonna see it through and through until okay, you pass that, and now we take on the next challenge. We try to work together. That everything I was taught, I can only share that through them. Because it's the right way. I've been lucky. I've been blessed. I've been very, very lucky and blessed. And just, but at the same time, I worked hard for everything. I worked hard for everything, and I don't want to say that it was easy, or sound cliches, but it was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of emotions. It was a lot of failure in my path, and but at the end of the day, there was more winning than losing. There was more happiness than sadness. There was more successful than unsuccessful moments. And through all that, sometimes J. Cole says it's beauty in the struggle. It's beauty in the struggle. So now when I look back on it, not my success, because that was the good times. I look back on the times I struggled, and I appreciate that more now, because it was really, really hard sometimes, and plenty of times I wanted to give up, but I just kept going. So now when I look back on it and say, yeah, I went through that, I went through that, I went through that. As my son come making a lot of noise right now. You want to say hi? Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. So yeah, it was just a lot of different emotions. If you're gonna take anything from this space, just keep your core values, discipline, motivation. I think if it's your job, if it's your life, if with your kids, whatever situation you may go through. I think if you're able to find motivation in any obstacle, that get past that obstacle, and you're disciplined and keep your core values, I think anybody can be successful. And um, like I said, I think that's my time. But again, I appreciate Shantel having me to just talk and share a little bit about my experience, and um, I'm just happy to have this opportunity to talk.
Thank you, BA. Wow, that was it's good. It's really good. And obviously, you come from a good family because of the success that you have. So I want to ask you this, right? For students who don't have the same opportunity, or I would say the same foundation as you, what would you give, or what would you say to them who don't have the foundation, such as those core values that your mom and your family instilled in you? What would you say to those student athletes who just don't have that foundation? Because there's so many kids that have talent, but unfortunately they don't have, the foundation that's set that will be able to give them that longevity. So what would you say to those type of students?
For me, my family was the biggest foundation I have. I was lucky, but also there were so many other pieces. Your guidance counselor, your best friend's parents can help you along. You have to find that person that's in your corner, because everybody has somebody rooting for them that want to see them succeed. Your AAU coach, your softball coach, whoever it may be, your neighbor down the street. It's just finding that person that will help you, push you, and get to where you need to be. I think at a young age, it may be your teacher. Even you might not even like your teacher, but, but they really are teaching you values, and you can find values in what they're bringing to the table. And you know, uh, it may just be having a conversation with somebody, and then that person will explain something, or they will say something, and then you be like, okay, now I'm saying I didn't know that person was my teacher. My art teacher is so on and so forth. So it's just finding that person, because I think it may not be your parents, but it's somebody out there that's in your corner that has your back. And I don't think nobody um, wants anybody to not succeed, but you just have to find the right people that's in your corner. And it may be a mentor, it may be somebody that's been through it, may be somebody in your neighborhood, it might be somebody you don't even know. It's a lot of people on the internet that you could just find that give you motivation, that you could just find that giving good advice. And it don't have to be somebody close to you. It could be somebody that you might not, that from afar, but if they're there and they're trying to instill good things in you, and you can take value out of what they're saying, maybe you can lean on them. So there are people out here, you just have to find the right people.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, I have another question for
Okay.
you. So I know with our organization, we really focus on helping students get into college, right? Four-year universities and so forth, right? So a lot of times students may stress about how they're going to fund college, right?
Right.
I was afforded the opportunity to get a academic scholarship, Bill Gates scholarship, right? I'm sure you got an athletic scholarship.
Right.
What about those students who really don't have, I guess, that financial aspect of college like figured out? What would you say to those students?
That's a hard question. I think it's hard for me to answer that, but I'll give my best advice because I didn't have to go through that struggle.
Right.
But if I had to, um, just thinking about what my mom would say, you cross that bridge when you come to it. I think um, a lot of times God has a plan for you, and you don't know what the plan is. I think you just find the best situation for you, and sometimes I think we focus on the details, but sometimes the blessing is right there in front of you. You just have to walk through the door and get it. And,
Yeah.
and later on, you will figure out how you're gonna pay for that. Later on, you will figure, because even for me, it's not the same situation, but when I was picking my colleges, I didn't know which one to pick. Like, it's not the same situation at all. But, I just walked out on faith, like, okay, this feels good. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what would happen, but it felt good. And I said, okay, whatever happens after this, after I sign those papers, I'll deal with it when I get there. But for right now, this is the situation. This is the blessing in front of me. Let me take advantage of it. And I think for anybody, for certain situations outside of sports, I think you just pray on it. I think you just pray on it, and if it feels right in the morning when you wake up, you make that decision, and then later on you will figure out the rest, I think.
Awesome. Love the response. I think that's like my biggest thing. Look, just pray about it.
Right. Right.
We're not going to stress. Just pray about it. We'll figure it out.
No stressing.
Right. All right. So does anyone have any other questions? No other questions? So BA, do you have information to share, like how people can get in contact with you? I know you have a organization, right?
Yeah, so I have a nonprofit that I do with my family too and my brother. It's Walker Sports Group. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, BA528, if I'm not mistaken. That's my Instagram. Twitter is the same thing. Um, you can find me. I don't have Facebook yet, but I have a nonprofit. We do a lot of things back on the Eastern Shore, where we do kind of the same thing. We do academics and athletics. We can combine both. We have programs, and we're basically trying to do the same thing. We're trying to get kids involved and take them through the process of basically learning about academics, learning about how to transition from high school to the college level. I think it's very important, especially on Eastern Shore, because we don't really have that many opportunities that people are coming and finding us. You have to go out and you have to find that opportunity, and I think that's very important for the Eastern Shore.
Can you repeat the name of your nonprofit organization?
It's Walker Sports Group. I will put it in the chat
Okay.
if you would like that. I will put the handle there, and I will put my information in the chat also.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, so if we don't have any further other questions, and for our guest speaker, we are going to, let me just share this. As I said previously, our organization, we host several webinars the first Wednesday of every month, where we try to bring in guest speakers to come and just share some information. Again, our organization is all about the academic and the financial aspect of planning for college. And again, I'm not an expert in the whole process. So that's why, again, I partner with BA, I partner with other individuals who have that knowledge in various topics to help students and to help their parents on their journey through the process in high school as well as after high school to figure out the next phase of life. So again, this is, if you want more information, you can definitely go to my website. It's www.empowerwithwords.com. And again, I would definitely continue to build partnerships with BA, especially on the Eastern Shore. That's an area where we both share and grew up, right? And I grew up in Melfa, so it's not that far from Savageville, BA. So, we'll definitely are trying to inspire other kids, other children all over. So I will put my information as well in the chat. If you have any other further questions. Thank you again, BA, for joining tonight. I appreciate your expertise and your knowledge and just sharing your story. It's really good to hear and to see young, because you're young, and I'm gonna say you're young, successful, African-American males, and it's good to see that and to inspire other like young teenagers to know that, like, hey, like that could be a role model. That's someone that I can kind of glean information from and knowledge from. So it's really good to share your story and, just inspire and to be that motivation for other, especially young Black boys, Black men. So it's good to see that. So I definitely appreciate you taking your time out again. And if we don't have any other further questions, this actually concludes our webinar tonight. And BA, I'll definitely keep in contact with you because I definitely want to, partner with you further, especially on the Eastern Shore, and see how we can better assist the students back there, back at home.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me again.
No problem. No problem. All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining tonight. This actually concludes our webinar this evening. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thank you.